All right, welcome in the New Arenas episode 8. And as we keep this whole thing going, covering the HYPE GVA, a couple of guests on the show today. Ryan, if you want to give us a preview of who we got.
Yeah, sure. We have Kristin Geer coming up from Bleachr. They also do have a product called Tennis One. It's one of the best apps, one best app in Canada for sports. And then afterwards, we're going to shift over to Madeira, Portugal. It's an island off the coast of Africa, where a company developed an AR product called FootAR, sort of like the Shazam for soccer, Shazam for sports. Hold your phone up to the TV and it gives you all kinds of augmented reality and real stats. It's going to be cool to see.
That sounds completely insane, and I can't wait to check that out. So, by the way, I am Vince Quinn. That is Ryan McCumber. We are powered by Fist, and with that, let's get into the interviews.
For our first guest today is Kristin Geer, from co-founder and CEO of Bleachr. I believe you're in Minnesota, is that right?
I am. Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, fantastic. So I think going from here, why don't you tell us about Bleachr? Just give us a quick overview and then we'll jump into some questions.
Yeah, sure. So we're based in Minneapolis. I have a team of about 25 individuals, primarily on the development side, but also have a full marketing staff as well. We do sports apps for teams, leagues, tournaments, colleges, and universities. And we've been really heavy in the white label space. So basically customizing sports apps for these teams, for the last few years. We just in January launched our first proprietary product called Tennis One, and it's the Tennis One app. It's basically one app, the only app you're ever going to need if you're a tennis fan, really to try to connect the tennis community. And that brings us from a B2B business into a B2B2C, which is interesting and makes us look at, monetization of the fan in a different way. So that's been fun and interesting. And then of course, we just launched that in January, and of course, COVID-19 hits, and that was just crazy and has been crazy for us as a small company. So when Ryan and his team pitched this accelerator, it seemed like a no-brainer to us, because my team immediately had started to pivot and think about how can we help our sports organization clients? How can we help those clients navigate, their way through this COVID-19 and beyond paradigm, because things are obviously going to be very different. So that's been fun and interesting, and I'm really excited to be part of this accelerator. It really does accelerate the timeline for us in terms of what we're able to launch, and how broadly we can do so.
All right, so let me ask you about this then, Kristin. So just in terms of setting up apps for all these different teams and tournaments, what are some examples of that, and how involved is that process exactly?
Sure. So we work with a lot of big clients. The Miami Open is one of them. The Rogers Cup in Canada has been one of our clients, the Western and Southern Open in Cincinnati. We worked with the majority of the US Open Series tournaments in tennis. We also do a number of baseball. We have a number of baseball clients over the past few years, independent league. But we're really excited about the fan engagement space for college as well. So we have College One is our college product. We partnered with Sidearm Sports, which is a Learfield IMG company, and to really kind of navigate our way through the college space. And we do a lot of fan engagement with colleges like Syracuse University, and University of Miami, and San Diego State, Loyola, etc. Any number. We have about 15 or 16 colleges we work with.
So how different are those apps then? Because if you're setting up an app for, say, a tennis team or a tournament for a cup, and the other thing is setting up for a college, like they have to be pretty different, right?
Very different, extremely different. So what we do in tennis, we have a very robust, very comprehensive base platform. And so not every tournament wants to have the same feature set, right? Some want live scores and draws. We have really cool interactive draws, and great content, live streaming, et cetera. So some want that. Others want, more fan engagement in terms of, like, we have a similar to Facebook and geo-fenced fan stream for fans to upload, user-generated content. which helps them to earn rewards, which they can then redeem for merchandise, prizes, things like that. We have a big social gaming aspect as well. And so all of those features they're plug and play. So we can easily take them in and out of the apps depending on what the clients need. They're highly customizable. So we make each client and all of their fans feel like it's their app. It looks like their own app. And that's our goal.
Okay. And so let me ask you this then, because you also mentioned, obviously, you're building all these different apps for all these different organizations and purposes, but you also mentioned how it changed so much with COVID. So how exactly did that change for you guys with COVID? What does that look like in the apps?
Well, we're a live sports app company. Without live sports, none of it makes sense, right? So Tennis One, though, was an interesting opportunity for us because we had just launched that. And we were counting on the Miami Open. We were counting on, having the Bleachr Open in Charleston to market this product to the world.
Just real quick, the Miami Open, Vince, was at the Miami Hard Rock Stadium. Yeah. So the partner of our program, they were actually setting up for the Miami Open in the stadium, setting down the grass, or not grass, but the court and everything else, getting it all ready, and COVID hit. So they had to tear it all down.
Now it's a drive-in theater, I think. I think they could do drive-in movies at the Hard Rock Theater, right?
And they turned it into like a drive-in testing site too, which was really amazing that they did that. But yeah, now it's going to be a drive-in, which I love. I think.
So go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry. Go ahead, Kristin. Just want to make that link to the program.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. What were we talking about?
So we were talking about how things changed with COVID and how that's changed for the apps and everything for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so we immediately said, okay, we've got this product, this year-round product. It's ours. We're not dependent on the clients. Let's see what we can do with this. So we immediately called a bunch of agents, ATP, WTA tour players, got them. They weren't working, of course, because they're independent, they're independent contractors.
Yeah.
Unlike, football, basketball, they all get paid regardless. Tennis, you don't. And so this was an opportunity for us to say, hey, we'd like to offer them the chance to work, if you will, live streaming in the Tennis One app to help build our base and to really engage the audience, long term. And so we have 20, more than 24 players who are streaming right now in the app every day, and they are doing everything from practice court sessions to workouts to really getting to know who they are, kind of lifestyle, which is fun and interesting. In tennis, you don't oftentimes get that opportunity to see and really learn who these people are off the court. And so it's kind of been special. It's been a lot of people in the community, the tennis community, have said, hey, this is something we didn't have before. And so thank you. They've thanked us for that, which is kind of fun. And the players are enjoying to really kind of explore their own brand. They have a personal brand, and having that chance to kind of shine in that regard is fun.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the big challenges of now is for so many people who the exposure typically comes from, all right, I'm doing post-game press conferences and people are writing about me and doing specials on me. Now you're just in your house. And so how do you make the most of that? Guys are training in the driveways and whatnot. So, hey, if you can do the live streaming, that's great. And it just seems like that's something that not only is that appropriate for now and gives something like for the tennis players, it gives them something to do now, but that's something that you could reasonably see going forward, right? Like other people are going to start doing this more regularly.
Absolutely. And it really helped us to say, okay, live streaming is really important. And it's what we did in the live stream. We not only have the live stream, but we have a chat overlay on top of it. So fans can ask the players questions and communicate with the player. And the players have been really responsive and interactive. And that helped us to really see that, which we already knew, television is a dying platform, right? So television is a dying platform. Fans no longer want to be broadcast at in a one-way direction, right? They want to be part of something. They want this to be meaningful. They want to have that interaction. And so we started to see this as, hey, this is multi-directional, and we have a chance to do what we think is going to be next in the way that fans consume sports in the future, building a multi-directional platform. And that's how CrowdView Live, this new feature that we're launching through this accelerator, and we're also launching it for World Team Tennis in July, we think is really special because it really does build that interaction with the fan and the team, and the sports organizations and their sponsors. We think it's a really cool opportunity.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
the app space is a crowded space, Kristin. There's a lot of competitors out there. There's a lot of competitors that have critical mass and build, white label versions. And there's a lot of clubs. I'll use the Golden State Warriors as an example that got rid of a pretty famous product to build it themselves. They say, look, we're just too advanced. Where do you kind of feel like you sit in the spectrum, top of the town? But I get tennis is kind of your space and you kind of own tennis. You start talking about some of these other partners who brought you in. Where do you kind of feel like you sit? What's your differentiator or your value proposition?
Yeah, the nice thing is we really do encompass two different areas. So we take a look at what does a client need? What does that sports organization need? Do they need a white label app, highly customized? Can we do that for them and make it affordable? Or do they just need some features put in their existing products that they're happy with? That's also, a great opportunity because some of our features are very robust. That plug and play is really valuable.
Got it. Okay. As far as who selected you, so you came in the accelerator, what were your expectations? And I know you were one of the big winners yesterday. I don't remember exactly how many you got, but maybe read them off to us.
Thank you. Yeah, we had Tennis Australia, which was, my heart just, thank you. I'm so excited about that, of course. But the Miami Dolphins, we had already worked with the Miami Dolphins, their crew, their entire, digital crew, for the Miami Open, which was exciting, and we loved their team. And so it just makes sense to work with them. I love that opportunity. So the Miami Open, the Miami Dolphins, we also got FIBA, which is incredibly exciting to us. FIBA is not that big in the US. It hasn't been, but it is enormous worldwide. And we are so thrilled and honored.
I recommend this to all the federations as a product, federation on top of federation on top of federation. That's what you call global scalability.
Exactly. Honestly, that to us is just like, this is so exciting. And we do a league app in our Tennis One app with World Team Tennis. So we do the World Team Tennis League and all 9 of their teams. So we already have experience in that. And so what we can do with FIBA, I think, is really exciting. And I love basketball.
I don't know myself is, are they interested in the app or are they interested in your plugins? Because you have some pretty cool plugins that it's called CrowdView Live.
CrowdView Live. CrowdView Live. Yeah.
Maybe explain that to Vince and us of how that product is.
And before I forget, we also got the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes.
I love the Blue Jays. I love baseball. So that was really exciting for us too.
And that's another one of, I'm curious, because the athletes have used the ballpark app. So this is probably plugins that go into that, is what my guess is. Yeah.
Absolutely. We know the restrictions. We've gone down the route of Major League Baseball in the past, and obviously ML BAM is an issue. But hearing from the team, that they are becoming more flexible in this new paradigm, and that we might be able to integrate some of these really valuable features, touchless transactions and the CrowdView Live. How can we engage the fans who aren't able to go or won't, if they choose not to go for the foreseeable future? This is a great way to connect with them. So CrowdView Live is our live stream interactive platform. So it's, let's say you're able to broadcast the game, the Miami Dolphins football game, in the center, if broadcast rights allow, they're not restricted. And then we have, if you take an elevated zoom and you put all of the different fans who want to be part of a particular fan watch party, within that, you have multi-directions, like talking about what's happening. And it's exciting and it's fun because they can also play games on top of the live action. So even if they can't watch the game in the app, they can watch a second screen. It becomes the preferred second screen platform. And they can play games like Point Streak Live or that based on game action. Are they going to run the ball, throw the ball? Will he make it or will he miss the field goal, et cetera? So those kinds of things are fun ways for the fans to engage, and friends can have little watch parties together.
Quote unquote gamification / sort of prop betting in a way.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And it's great because it's also a really big data driver. We are able to throw in, little survey questions that help to drive really valuable fan 360 profile data that, in this paradigm, who knows what kind of data we're going to be able to obtain. This, I think, is going to be highly valuable to teams in the new paradigm. We also have PlayerCast, which is a really great platform for teams to put all their players in, give all their players a live stream channel. They can broadcast anytime. They can start building their own little follower group. And again, that's also that interactive, building that interaction of live stream watch parties. So I think it's going to be fun.
So is PlayerCast in effect right now?
PlayerCast is not. It will be launching in July. So all of our features, the CrowdView Live and PlayerCast, the new ones, will be launching with World Team Tennis. The season is beginning, mid-July. I'm forgetting the date right now. There's the last 3 weeks of July up to August 1st. So that'll be really fun. It's a great way for World Team Tennis to engage their teams, the teams and the fans in their independent cities, because they're all going to play in one location at Greenbrier.
There's still a Philly team?
What's that?
There's still a Philly team?
Yes, there is. There is the Philly team. Yes, they're really good too. I think they made it to the finals last year, if I remember right.
They switch every year. The players switch. Yeah. So Vince, do you know what Team Tennis is by any chance?
I gotta say no.
It's ex-famous tennis players. So your Andre Agassi, Anna Kournikova, Steffi Graf, whatever. They get assigned to different cities and they play for that city as a team.
Oh.
And they play their cities. They do it. It's a celebrity fun match. It's a great day out for the kids and stuff like that. But it's fun. They get involved. There's a lot of different things. It's all ex-famous players.
That's great.
They're also current. Now there are also current players. So there are current players who, maybe they may be nearing the end of their, like the Bryan brothers, for example. They're retiring, obviously, and they're a great example of that. But they're fun. It's a great organization.
It's a friend of mine from Philly that I went to Lafayette with. Her job would be to sign up the next season for all the players. So she would start at the Melbourne Australian Open with pretty much an open check and just try to talk and meet the players, meet them for a drink. How much money do you want to play on the tour? Here you go. You're on the team. That was her job, just to sign them up, and she did it every year in Australia.
That's a great. Is that job available? Because I'm interested.
Society Hill. She's right down Society Hill in Philly.
There we go. Yeah, we got to link that up. But Kristin, I got to ask you something, by the way, because I've been obviously we're going through this whole interview. I can't help but notice you've got a couple of nice awards there on the bookshelf behind you. What do you got there?
So those are my Emmys. So my background is I started in television, and I spent 15 years in television news.
You grab one for us?
What's that?
Yeah, can we get a close up on one?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure. Well, hang on.
Just to see it up close. Yeah.
Sure.
There we go.
See what an Emmy looks like in person.
See, there we go.
There
Nice up
the
close.
Real deal. It's a little dusty. I mean, cheapers. You could have warned me. Oh, and then there's my little golf trophy. I'm not a very good golfer. I try.
Okay.
That was my golf award. Anyway.
But so tennis, right?
The last call we had with B-Box, they had all these jerseys up around the wall. So we had a little tour, and I think Vince and I created Sport Tech MTV Cribs. So we're now trying to pick out what's in the office and do a little. So now we got an Emmy.
I was in my office. We're all working remotely still, and so our office has all these cool posters.
We just held up an Emmy, so we have an Emmy Award winner in the group here. So this is fantastic.
So I left TV news though, and then I started my own production company, and I did sports. I did go for coaches shows. I did a show with a World Series champion Ken Herbeck for a number of years. Before realizing television is a dying platform and moving to digital where the rest of the world is. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a radio guy who's now trying to get into the YouTube scene, I know exactly what you're talking about. So
right.
Yeah, that's the game.
So
do you ever broadcast any tennis matches, any live? I might need a moderator soon.
There we go. Yeah, I'm up for whatever. I'm a quick study, whatever you need, I'm available.
Does your voice sound as good at the tennis match, Vince, as it does on the radio?
Well, yeah. Should I be like a little more hushed when I'm doing a tennis match? Like, I don't know what kind of energy
tennis. You got to make sure you start studying up on tennis if you don't do a lot of tennis.
Well, yeah, no, I'll work on it. We'll get it done.
Awesome. I like that.
There we go.
Good. We'll be calling.
So, Kristin, let's just wrap up with, obviously you got picked by a lot of these. You mentioned FIBA. I'm not going to ask you to pick one's your favorite, but good luck with everything.
Thank you.
We'll be checking in along the way. As you know, I'll be here to support you throughout, but thank you for coming on this today. You guys were a huge winner yesterday. I'll be quite honest with you. I didn't expect that many to have selected you from my own perspective. Not that I don't think you.
Get him, Kristin. Get him. Get him.
I was surprised by some of them. So it is what it is. It's great, and it's awesome for you.
Thank you.
So fantastic. I mean, the Blue Jays was the one. I mean, that was out of the blue for me.
But I see how we can help them, and I'm so glad that we. I mean, I can see what we can do for them. All four of these partners. I really can see what we can do. I was surprised based on the Friday podcast with the LA Football Club that they didn't choose us, because I can also see how we can help them with their fan clubs, especially.
Christian's got, since that podcast, a lot more came on his plate, and he actually had like 4 or 5 he was choosing, and he brought it down to 2 last minute. That's also why we didn't have the logos and all that stuff we did as a one-off. Sure. Doesn't mean he's not interested in it. It just means
I'm happy to talk to him too.
So it's the next 3 months he needs to really focus, and he was telling me to bring the MLS back, and LAFC has a lot more on their plate than other MLS clubs, and there's a lot going on there. So it was more of a bandwidth than because you saw his podcast and he talked about it.
I'm like, oh, that's awesome. We can do this, and that with them. But I get it. Yeah. I'm really excited though. I don't have a favorite. I'm really excited about all four. I really think that our team can help all of them really stay connected and engaged with their fans and make some money off their fans at a time when, things are going to be tight and they're going to be losing, a lot of money. So I think we can help. I'm excited about that.
All right. Well, best of luck to you. We'll be staying along the way for the journey. It'll be a fun road. So we'll talk to you soon. Thanks,
Kristin, thanks so much.
Okay. For our next guest, we have David Olim, the co-founder of FootAR. That's FootAR, Foot Augmented Reality. David, you want to say a word or two about what FootAR does?
Yes. First of all, thanks for inviting us for the podcast. Actually, FootAR is pretty amazing. You have the ability to have a second screen app that enhances the overall fan experience while watching a live broadcast. Basically, you have the ability with an app to point at the screen. It identifies which sports event is happening, and it gives you more insights in augmented reality.
And let's just clarify really quick, Vince. FootAR, what do you mean by foot? Football? And what kind of football?
Football. Actually,
European soccer. Let's clarify.
European soccer. Yeah. That's what our
European soccer. And David, where are you calling in from today?
From Funchal, Madeira Island, which is in Portugal. So Europe.
So Vince, have you heard of the Madeira Island in Portugal?
Never in my life. No, I have not.
David, there's a famous soccer player from Madeira, right?
Yes. Vince, do you know Cristiano Ronaldo?
I certainly do.
So Cristiano Ronaldo is born from Portugal, but he's originally from an island in Portugal, which is right in the middle of Atlantic Ocean. Actually, pretty cool thing is that we are closer physically of Africa than we are from Europe. So, but we are
it's off the coast of Morocco, sort of like the Canaries in a way, right?
Wow.
Sort of. Yeah. Okay. Vince, questions?
Well, yeah. So, So FootAR, you say I'm watching a soccer game on TV. I point my phone at it, and your app is going to be able to identify what game I'm watching. I don't have to play anything. It knows what I'm watching, and then it gives me information. Like, what is the information that I'm getting out of this?
So if our data provider, which we use at this time, can provide us that information, and we'll get that in a minute. The thing is, we can get stats as ratings of the player. So in the minute, let's say 75, I can understand exactly how the player is performing based on color scheme. So red is bad, orange is average, yellow, okay, green is like what is playing very good, and anyone which can understand exactly what's happening can by just looking at colors, understand if a certain player is playing good or not, depending on the performance.
So, okay. So how did you guys like make the estimations of what makes somebody playing well or badly or average? How does that all work?
It's all about statistics. So if a player just made lots of fouls and missed a lot of easy chances, then the algorithm delivers a specific rating. But if the player scored an hat-trick, it's way easier to identify that he performed well better than the other players. So it's very similar to games like FIFA or Football Manager that already does it. And we put this in real time, but for the final user to identify it.
So cool. Now, how many leagues or teams is this connected to?
We actually have granted access from the data provider. So if we use the data provider that can deliver us information on specific competitions or specific sports, then we can put it in our augmented reality interface, which ultimately will be customized by the final user. So the answer is how many the data provider can give us, then we will be able to give that for the final user.
Wow, that's so cool. Now, one of the things we were talking about this kind of sort of beforehand, but you mentioned, David, that you have some sort of gaming background that goes into doing all this. So, like, what is the gaming background?
Yeah, actually, a pretty cool story is that when we were in university and we spent lots of time playing instead of studying, and that happened. The thing is, we really thought, and since we were engineers, or in that time just studying to be there, and fortunately we did, our team and the three engineers said, okay, what if we could deliver, instead of playing other games, what if we can create our own? One time we were drinking a lot, and Balthazar, our co-founder, said, what if we put a sheep crossing a road? And at that time we said, whoa, that's an amazing idea. And that's how we created an awesome casual game named Road Sheep. You can search it on the Play Store or on the App Store. Basically, you start with a sheep crossing a road and eventually get killed like an endless runner. But it escalates to where you can have Michael Jackson crossing the road by on the sound of the Thriller, right? And that's pretty amazing because we started at university and we've been awarded by both Microsoft, Sony PlayStation with our casual game Road Sheep.
That's amazing. Now, I guess to give everybody an idea of this, so you sent me a link to a demo video that you guys have with FootAR. So is it cool if I pull that up now? And we kind of run through that, and you talk us through the video a little bit here, David?
Yes. Actually, the prototype was filmed in last year's Web Summit. Okay. So it's an actual prototype that was run on an iPhone 8, I think, at the time. Yeah.
All right. So
for those that don't know, what Web Summit is kind of like a CES in Vegas, but it's the largest web conference in the world. They do a couple around the world, but originally founded in Portugal.
Okay. So here's the footage from that, and I guess I'll hit play here. And David, as much commentary as you
feel free to talk to us. Tell us what we're seeing.
Yes.
So here we go.
Feel free to do it. So basically, this is the user experience of the app. You point at the screen, you identify which data you want to be presented, and you select a plan. That can be your living room, the stadium, it can be whatever you want. And you have all these players, so you can see the formation, you can see their performance, their live performance on the specific game. In this one, you can interact and touch on players to know more information. Actually, we also have the globe, so you can understand where the game is being played at the time. And then you can have the ability to check not only specific performance of players, but also the game. And finally, the social networks attached real time to that game. So that's what we can deliver. That's some parts of what we can deliver. There.
And to clarify, this is live and real right now. This isn't like a pipe dream. This is live and real.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is incredible. So and I noticed, because you have all the different cards, so you can see the stars that have the colors of how the player's doing, right? And then you also had the contracts on there. It looked like I saw little money bags on the corner. Is that what the deal is there?
Yeah, the corner is their transfer market value. So if a team supposedly can purchase that player, that's the amount of
think of like a fantasy football. Think of like a fantasy football trade value of how much this player costs to buy, type of thing.
Wow.
Exactly. And this data already exists. What we do is put it on a prettier interface so the user can be more familiar with it and can interact, ultimately generating value for both clubs and sponsors, which is the ultimate goal.
Wow. I mean, that is incredible. I guess one of the other things I noticed in that video is it showed one of the players, and it looked like it was every pass that player had made, or so. There was like, it showed a player card and a bunch of different lines of, so like what was all that information there?
So actually, when you select, because all those cards on the pitch were selectable, you could have for a specific player their hit map, besides the rating, and how the rating was calculated. So if a player performs or displays an 8 from 0 to 10, it's better that he'll have the statistics to put that information. So in this case, we had half, I think, which is from Benfica, and because he scored a goal and delivered 2 most passes that could be goal, that's how he got that specific rating. So yeah, that's everything calculated in real time.
Perfect. Wow. So David, coming back to the accelerator, I'm thrilled to have you involved. Tell us who you're selected by. First off, what do you think of the process? Were you nervous during the pitch day and selection Monday? Who are you selected by?
Yeah, we were really happy for how the HYPE program got us involved, because we had 1 week to had the ability to talk with 12, 11 potential partners. And the thing is, what amazes more is that in the first place we had to pitch to outstand the other 1K startups that apply to the program. But the real thing about HYPE is that in the end, being in the final list, it doesn't matter if we can't pitch our products to potential sponsors. And when they choose us, is a validation of both our team and our product, which gives us the bridge for the product to be on the market. So that's a pretty good thing that we thought on this specific bootcamp that we didn't have on the others. Fortunately for us, FootAR, we've been selected from both Paris Saint-Germain. So in the football sector, that was one of those we were aiming at, and FIBA, which kind of sent us a new thing to do, which is aligned product not only for football but for basket, and displayed the same data or different data on a different way but for a different sport. And that would be a challenge for us, but we're more than happy to understand there are potential markers that we can address with our product.
I think when FIBA selected you, they told you you're going to have to switch your name to basketball.
Yeah, they specifically said, David, you will need to change the name. And yeah, that's the thing with FootAR. We felt like this can be used as a prototype, an MVP, but we are really focused in having a product that can be across all sports. And FIBA got to the first step towards that specific goal.
If we just come back to PSG, what do you envision for Paris Saint-Germain?
Actually, the main goal will be to generate revenue by delivering a new experience for their fans. So that's one of the things we will talk in the future meetings. I think that with augmented reality, and if we can integrate with their already offers for their fans, then that definitely can be a plus for the overall experience of a PSG fan. So you can follow their games and have the ability to choose and interact with the players. But let's see whether the meetings
Yeah,
direct us.
of course. One last question, David. With 5G coming, the whole world talking about 5G, how do you think that's going to change AR or VR, so to say?
Definitely, with any doubt, that augmented reality will benefit from 5G. So you have all this data being processed, and the amount and the velocity and speed that 5G can deliver needs some immersive experience, so you can process all the data and understand it in a prettier interface for the final user. So we definitely believe that if we are targeting 5G with FootAR, because of the amount that is being processed in real time, and we need to deliver that information fast, definitely we can use FootAR as a showcase, as a use case for those telecommunication providers that want to have one specific product that can showcase their 5G technology. So yeah, I truly believe that 5G will definitely mark the next decade, and augmented reality will be parallel to that industry.
Perfect. David, I think we have to close here. Is there any final words from you guys?
No closing thoughts other than I'm looking forward to Road Sheep 2. Whenever you make Road Sheep 2, let me know. I'll be the first person to sign up. I can't wait.
Actually, you can, if you want, you can go and download. And after your feedback, I'm looking forward to develop the Road Sheep 2. Okay.
All right, David. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Looking forward to you in the next couple of weeks of the program. We'll be checking in with you, see how things go with both FIFA and PSG. And we'll be checking in along the way throughout the journey. So thank you.
Okay. Okay, Ryan. See you, Vince. See you. Nice to meet you. And we'll be looking forward for the next weeks.
All right, so that's our interview with David, and that's going to be our show. But first, I guess, are you drinking any wine right now, Ryan? Do you have any wine ready to go for us here?
We do today.
Okay.
Fortunately, I went to the store before I knew we were going to be speaking to David from Madeira. I tried to get a Madeira wine, which is a special sweet wine, but I couldn't find it. I had to stick with the port. So for everyone in America that knows port, I spent a lot of time in I originally came 4 days to Porto. I got stuck there. I'm now going on day 90 in Portugal. And this is a Callum 10-year-old Vahotani. It's one of the better ports in the town. Let me pour some here. You see, it's like a brownish.
Yeah, pour it. There you go.
Red. Has a great taste. Definitely one of the better ports. Highly recommend it.
Well, there you go. So there's Ryan's wine for the night. And Ryan, just a couple of quick things here as we wrap stuff up is one, if people haven't heard our episode with Jerome, we got the Junkyard Dog. And so that's episode 7. If people haven't tuned in for that, we got to make sure they check that out. And by the way, not only are we on YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, we are also a podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. So look for New Arenas on Apple Podcasts. And also we're on LinkedIn. So give us a like on LinkedIn and spread the good word. Now, last note, because we got a lot of things going on now. I mean, hey, we're growing, we're moving, we're shaking, we're making things happen over here. If you want to advertise on the show, by the way, we are now open for advertising, and you can reach out to me. You can find me at contactvincequinn@gmail.com. That's all one word, contactvincequinn@gmail.com. So with that, I am Vince Quinn. That is Ryan McCumber. We are New Arenas, powered by Fist, and we'll talk to you soon.